that 800 million Chinese have moved from poverty. That is freedom. But you can't say what you want in China.
No, it's not true in India. My gosh, I've written a book about the Prime Minister and so far I'm not in jail, right? Development is important, but human rights are also important, at least in our system. I can criticize my government, and I do all the time, and it's part of my right to do so in my democracy. Even if my democracy is being challenged in very many ways, and there are real questions about how freely some of our autonomous institutions are truly functioning, the truth is we can still speak our minds. No Chinese can without facing...
Can I interrupt as you interrupted me?
Sure.
Everything I've said today, I've said in China.
Yeah, but you haven't said anything the Chinese should object to.
About the Chinese system.
But there's nothing they would object to. So of course you can say...
No, sorry. About what the Chinese need to do to essentially move from where they are. But you can't take away the fact that 800 million Chinese have moved from poverty. That is freedom. That is ultimate human rights too. So I live in a multicultural society where, as you know, Malaysia is got vast amount of institutional discrimination against the non-Malays.
That's right, non-Bhumi Putras.
The non-Malays. I speak about against it, but I'm careful what I say because I should not be insulting Muslims or Islam. So in China it's the same. You can say what you say, but if you are not entitled, as it's supposedly the ultimate freedom in democracy, to insult every Tom, Dick, and Harry and cause disharmony. And I'm saying in large crowded nations, that should not be a right you can simply abuse. There should be constraints. And that's where the Chinese and Indian systems are slightly different. But you can say what you want in China, but you cannot cause disorder. And I'm arguing that is actually important, because they are large and complex places.
Okay, on that particular point, just two things. Try saying something about Xi Jinping or the Chinese Communist Party or the Chinese system, and you'll see exactly where those limits are.
I believe that's the same in India.
No, it's not true in India. My gosh, I've written a book about the Prime Minister, and so far I'm not in jail, right? So
they harass you.
No, that's not true. Secondly, the Chinese, as far as I'm concerned, their economic miracle is real, and I'm totally agreeing with you that what they've done is remarkable. I mean, we had the same size economy in 1978 when Deng Xiaoping embarked on the so-called peaceful rise. And they took their economy to 4.5 times our size. They went, for example, from 0 kilometers of 6-lane expressways in 1996 to 100,000 kilometers in 2006, in 10 years, because they could just draw a line on the map and bulldoze anything in the path. There was no question of our Indian thing where you try and widen a road and there are protests, there are court cases, there are people arguing about compensation. And I must say, I prefer our system. Development is important, but human rights are also important. And the right of people to say, no, I don't want a road that's going to crush my father's graves and so on. This is something that people have the right to do in our country. And yes, you'll have Bollywood actresses coming and joining the protest. You'll have your red flags going up and God knows what other color, all of that. But as we say in India, we are like this only. And we are going to stay like this, and we want to stay like this. But as an Indian, my view is we don't have to have a competition with China. I had earlier been an advocate of close relations with China, precisely for economic benefits, saying, look, as long as at the end of the day, the Chinese are prospering and everyone in India has 3 square meals a day, the prospect of a decent job, a healthcare clinic within 3 kilometers walk of his place of residence, a decent school or a set of schools everywhere in the country to send their children to, and the aspiration to dream of a better life for their children. If an Indian has all that, how does it matter to an Indian that China is doing 10 times better? I don't care. I just want to ensure that all my people are well. That was my logic.